Welcome to Behind the Schemes, a discussion of how commerce, corruption, and counterfeit cures are destroying our planet's precious wildlife. This is Rhishja Cota-Larson with Behind the Schemes, and in this episode, we're talking about saving the world's smallest bear. Sunbears are one of the 8 species of bear, and these bears are facing a triple threat to their survival. I recently spoke with world-renowned Sunbear expert Siew Te Wong, CEO and founder of the Bornean Sunbear Conservation Center in Malaysia, about these fascinating little bears. Can you tell us what makes the sunbears different from other bears?
Sure, yeah. So first of all, Sunbears is the smallest of all the 8 living bear species. They are the smallest bear, and the small size actually help them have a very arboreal lifestyle. And also, they are very different from other bears by having this very long and very strong claw, and then a long curve and strong claw, and all of this tool for them to help them climbing. And also, sun bear have a very powerful jaw. If you look at the skull of a sun bear, they have a very big zygomatic arch, and that big zygomatic arch is where the very big jaw muscle attach. And then sun bears are known to chew through the hardest wood in the world, the Bornean iron wood. And this is what makes them so different and special than other bear species.
When you say that they're living in the trees, I've seen them swinging from the trees almost like a primate and building nests. That's very unusual.
Absolutely. So yes, that is very unusual. Sometimes, I often describe sunbears as like a cross between a bear and a chimpanzee, and because they are black in colors, and then sometimes they just swing. They use one hand and kind of cling themselves on a liana or tree branch. Do a lot of crazy stuff that people would not ever think of a bears can actually do. That kind of that kind of behavior. And one thing is that their front elbow actually can rotate like primates. Not like a carnivore. The motions is back and forth, but for sunbears, they can do this rotations just like we do, and that makes them so arboreal and so agile on trees as well.
Huh. And they make a different noise then from other bears. I was watching a video and I thought there was a dog in the video, but there wasn't.
Yes, they are. They bark. They bark like a dog when they are threatened. That is pretty amazing to see how vocal and how much different sounds that they make means different thing. And this is something that we need to learn more about them. Simply is like that. There's a new frontiers in terms of sunbears research.
What countries do they live in?
They are range from the eastern tip of India. There's 2 provinces, Assam province and Arunachal province. Still got small populations of sunbears, and then they used to found in Bangladesh, but believe the Bangladesh population has been gone locally extinct. And then moving eastward to the country of Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, southern China, peninsula of Malaysia, islands of Sumatra, and islands of Borneo. And then the other place where sunbears are going to extinct is Singapore. Singapore used to have sunbears, and I think right now there's no more habitat, no more sunbears found on the small island country.
Oh, are there any subspecies of sunbear?
Yes, there are. There are 2 subspecies. The Hiractus malayanus are the so-called mainland bear. They are found in the mainland and the islands of Sumatra. And then the Bornean subspecies, the Hiractus malayanus eryspilus, are much more smaller than the mainland subspecies. So yeah, the Bornean Sunbears are the one that I'm working with over the last 14 years or so.
And when you say smaller, we were talking before about they're the world's smallest species of bear. How large are they? What size are they, would you say?
Okay, so for a adult Bornean male, average about 50 kilos
Mm-hmm.
is considered as big.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you move to mainland, a captive male bear can weigh up to 100 kilos.
Okay.
So they are about 40 percent or 30 to 40% bigger than the in the mainland subspecies.
Oh, okay. So they're
Mm.
so even as an adult, they're the size of a large dog then.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So you're talking about 100-pound bears.
That is pretty small for a bear.
Yeah,
That's about
or
the
bear.
size of a big
Mm-hmm.
dog. Huh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is there a population estimate for sun bears, or is the population increasing, decreasing? Is there any sort of estimate for that?
No, unfortunately, Sunbear is still the least known bear. But one thing for sure, say for example in Borneo where I work, their population is much more lower than the orangutan. I mean, in terms of their density, yeah. And then because Sunbear is still the least known bear in the world. So before I started my work in 1998, virtually there's no study on Sunbears or whatsoever exists. So we do not know. And then in terms of whether the population is increasing or decreasing, for sure the population is decreasing. The
Hmm.
population is decreasing just based on the habitat itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and IOCN Bear Specialist Group a few years ago put out a statement where we believe that the bear sun bear has declined uh, more than 30% over the last 30 years based on the habitat disappearance alone in Southeast Asia.
Oh. And speaking of the deforestation, the sun bears actually face a triple threat, which is
Mm-hmm.
the deforestation, the killing for traditional medicine trade, and capturing the babies for the pet trade. Is there one of
Mm-hmm.
these threats that is worse than the others? Are they all the same, or which one is the most difficult to deal with, would you say?
Well, I think the deforestation is by far the biggest threat. Yeah, looking at when forest is gone, then it's gone. Places like Thailand, for example, have lost majority of the forest, and then the only forest left in the country is only small pockets of national parks or completely or totally protected area. So when and then these deforestations most often come with a government scheme, a big government scheme where regular ordinary people cannot do much to stop this kind of destructions. So by far, deforestation is the biggest threat, but it is related to the other two. Say, for example, during the process of deforestations of loggings, people bumps into female bears or saw cubs in the forest, and they would not hesitate to kill bears. Or sometimes those forest workers or loggers, they would set snares and set traps in the forest when they are working in the forest, and that would kills the other wildlife and including bears as well.
Hmm.
And then the supply for medicine or for pet is all associated with people working in the forest, people encroaching the forest.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of exacerbate makes this whole situation worse.
Oh my gosh.
And then yeah, and in terms of which one is the biggest is more difficult to deal with, I think more deforestation is very difficult to deal with because it most often come with the country developmental schemes or government schemes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then so the other two, killing and poaching for traditional medicines or capturing for is something that we can do as long as there is, like, say for example, law enforcement, for example, raise awareness among local community. This is something that we can do.
Are the sun bears are protected? Is that correct by law?
Yes, Sunbear is protected in all range country. And then, say for example, in Malaysia, we have three different laws in three different geographic regions that protect sun bears. Sun bear is listed as totally protected species in Peninsula of Malaysia and state of Sabah, and they are listed as protected species in Sarawak. The difference between the totally protected and protected species is the totally protected species, no one is allowed to hunt, to kill, to keep, to harm sun bears. And then a protected species, say for example, their protection status in Sarawak is that they can hunt sun bear as long as they have to apply for a hunting permit. So you cannot, anybody cannot just go and kill by their wish. But the problems lie with enforcement.
Oh, okay. Tell me
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, so as you know, this part of the world, wildlife enforcement are not priority for the law enforcement agency. And then animals are treated as not less important than humans. And then so in a place where resources is limited, then people tend to do not care about whether or not this animals is actually protected by law. And then law enforcement agency sometimes take the attitude of, let's care about actually enforce the wildlife law. And this is a problem. And some parts of Southeast Asia is more serious than the other. And then, but in Sabah, say over the last few years or so, we can see the government is actually head up to do law enforcement with all these conservation issues and all these international NGOs working in this part of the world. So all of these are good sign, and I really hope that in other parts of Southeast Asia where sun bears are found, the other law enforcement agency can also do the same thing as well.
Are you seeing more young people in Southeast Asia getting interested in wildlife work and protecting wildlife?
Yes and no. Certainly there are more and more, but I think we can actually have more. But still, this trend is still very slow, and then I think we need to move faster and move forward. There are certainly more new blood join the forces, but I think it is not enough.
Okay. Tell me more about how Bornean Sunbear Conservation Center helps sun bears.
Okay, so it's a long story to tell, and this is years of experience. I work on sun bears since 1998, about 14 years ago, and what I see is there is several problems that we need to work with sun bear. First of all, the cage bear issue need to be addressed. So people keep sun bears as pets. They are so cute when they are small, period. They are so cute.
They are extremely cute. They are
Extremely cute when they are.
cute.
Yes, but unfortunately, the cuteness only lasts for several months. The first several months in their life, and this animal is designed to destroy. With all this very strong claws and strong jaw, they are designed to destroy. And then when you keep an animal that is designed to destroy, eventually, very soon, they are going to turn into a destructive beast. So at the end, a lot of these bears are locked up in a small metal cage, and that is a very sad situation, and that is a very desperate situations that we need to help. So Sunbear Conservation Center first set up is to help this cage bear, is to rescue this cage bear and then improve their animal welfare. So this is the first thing that the Bornean Sunbear Conservation Center would like to achieve, is to improve the welfare of this cage animal. So so this is the first thing, and the second thing that we want to do is education. Sunbear is the least known bear in the world. Until now, it is still the least known bear in the world. Not only foreigners do not know there's a bear called Sunbears, a lot of local people still do not know there's a bear called Sunbears in their backyard.
Huh.
Local people knows about panda because Kung Fu Panda,
Mm-hmm.
because all this, panda story, panda pictures, and so on and so forth. People knows about polar bear because polar bear or grizzly bear because of National Geographic, because of Discovery Channel. But sun bears are so little known. There's so little media exposure. And then, say for example, just a few months ago, I was giving a talk in a local high school here in Sabah. Out of 300 students, I asked them, how many of you have heard about sun bears? I saw 10 hands. Out of
Oh.
300, I saw, yeah, out of 300 students. And I asked them, how many of you have seen a sun bear in zoo and so on? I saw 5 hands.
Oh
You know,
gosh.
so people do not, local people, students do not know about sunbears, and this is a problem. This is a problem for its conservations. So the second thing that Bornean Sunbear Conservation would like to do is education, is to educate local people, foreigners, about the issue faced with the sunbear, about the plight of the sunbears. Yeah. So second, education. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
desperately needed. And because of lack of education, lack of awareness, then the whole problem issue arises. The poaching issues are very related to education. People do not know they're actually against the law by keeping or killing or a sunbears. People do not have any idea that this animal is protected under the national law.
Hmm.
So all of this is lack of education. So education is a key for sun bear conservation, and we want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the third thing is rehabilitation. For those individual, those cage expats,
Mm-hmm.
sunbears that have a chance to return into the wild, we would like to give them a second chance to be able to live in the wild. Sunbear is a forest-dependent species. They belongs to the forest and not belongs to cages, not belongs to anybody's house as pets and so on and so forth. So we would like to have the capacity to give them a second chance to be able to return into the wild. And unfortunately, not all bears are capable to return to the wild. We have had many older individual that has been in captivity for many, many years. They pretty much lost the instinct of first foraging in the forest. And then the second, which is even more of a problem, is they lost fear to humans.
Oh
They
yeah.
associate human with food. So when you release this kind of individual, they would come back immediately and find, people or village or break into somebody's kitchen and get into the problem. And then no one will ever tolerate a bear break into the kitchens with their kids running around in their backyard. So not all bears are release candidates.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and then the fourth thing that we want to do is research.
Mm-hmm.
Sun bear is still the least known bear in the world. There is so many things that we need to know about them in order to help conservation plan, in order to help management plan. And then by setting up this center, we would like to do the research as well. So it is a holistic approach to conserve sun bears, to promote animal welfare, to rehabilitations, to educations and research. And then all of this fall under a big umbrella of conservations. And this is how I see we would like to conserve sun bear in this center.
What can people do to support the Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Center?
Okay, so many things that they can do. Okay, the first thing and the most easy thing that they can do is help us spread the word.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned earlier, sun bear is the least known bear in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then by helping us spread the word, show a picture of sun bears that you download from our blog, from our website, to your friends and relatives, or help share the story, the blog that I post on your Facebook. You are helping us spreading the word, spreading the love, and help us conserve sun bear. This is very, very easy. Help us spread the word. Okay, the first thing. And then the second thing is help us fundraising. Obviously, conservation project, we use money, we spend money, unfortunately, and then we spend money, but we do not make money. And then the amount of work that we can do to help sunbears is often reflects on the amount of funding that we have. Yeah. So if you are capable, you donate to our cause. I thank you with my most sincere heart. Or if not, you help us fundraising, help us spread the word. Okay. So funding. And then the last thing I often tell people is do what you do best to help us. I think that is very effective. And so far, we have seen a lots of example of, say, for example, an artist help us draw a painting, and then we auction the painting to generate funding. A writer write about sunbears and write about our center, and then and help us promote or spread the word. A filmmaker, say for example, help us make a film on sunbears and our center. And this is all anybody can do. There is no restrictions of what you can do. You know, I have a friend who is a website designer, and she is right now helping us to design a website. You know, so there's a lot of things that people can do. It's just use your imaginations and use your creativity.
Oh, those are
Yeah.
great ideas. Those are great. I like that a lot. There is a way for everybody to get involved with
Absolutely.
spreading the
And
word about sunbears. Yes.
yeah, absolutely. And if you're students, hey, study sunbears. If you're professors, study sunbears.
Thank you so much, Wong, for your time today.
No problem. Thank you so much for for having me tonight.
Well, you are quite welcome. You've been listening to Saving the World's Smallest Bear with Siew Te Wong, CEO and founder of the Bornean Sunbear Conservation Center. This is Rhishja Cota-Larson with Behind the Schemes.